Moses was a skilled mechanic who had a deep passion for his work. Having finished secondary school, he had dreams of furthering his education, but life had other plans. Unable to afford university, he turned to what he knew best, repairing cars. It wasn't just a job to him, it was a way of life. Every day, he poured his heart and soul into his work, using his hands to build a future he could be proud of. His love for Doris, his girlfriend, was unwavering. Despite the hardships, Moses believed that together, they could overcome any challenge. He was willing to sacrifice everything for her, determined to see her succeed even if he couldn't pursue his own dreams. He clung to the hope that one day, life would reward them for their efforts, and they would be happy together, free from the struggles that had shaped their lives. Doris was on the verge of entering a higher institution, but her parents couldn't afford to pay the fees. Seeing her dreams almost slip away broke Moses's heart. He loved her deeply and couldn't bear to see her give up on her future. Determined to make sure Doris got the education she deserved, Moses took on the responsibility of funding her schooling. He worked tirelessly, fixing cars late into the night, saving every naira he could. Every sacrifice he made was for her. He often skipped meals or worked through exhaustion, knowing that Doris's success would make all his efforts worthwhile. While others his age were chasing their own dreams, Moses focused solely on Doris's. He knew she was destined for greatness, and if he could play a part in that, then his struggles wouldn't be in vain. Doris, motivated by Moses's support, studied hard, determined to make him proud. Years passed, and with Moses's unwavering support, Doris graduated from the university. However, her ambitions didn't stop there. She dreamed of going abroad for her master's degree, and Moses, as always, was determined to make it happen. He worked even harder, scraping together enough money to help Doris pursue her dream. The day she received her visa was a mix of emotions for both of them. While Moses was overjoyed at her success, a part of him feared what the distance would mean for their relationship. Despite this, he believed that their love was strong enough to withstand the separation. As Doris boarded the plane, Moses waved goodbye, holding on to the belief that one day, her success would be their success. He imagined a future where they would build a life together, filled with the rewards of their hard work and the love that had kept them going. For the first 2 months after Doris left for her master's program abroad, everything seemed fine. She called Moses often, updating him on her progress and reassuring him of her love. But then, the calls stopped. Days turned into weeks, and Moses's phone remained silent. He desperately tried to reach her, but every attempt failed. His mind was plagued with worry. Had something terrible happened to Doris? Or worse, had she chosen to cut him out of her life? The uncertainty gnawed at him, leaving him sleepless and anxious. He couldn't understand how someone who had meant so much to him could suddenly disappear without explanation. Moses held on to hope, but as time went on, it became harder to convince himself that everything would be okay. The silence was deafening, and the longer it lasted, the more Moses began to fear that his worst suspicions were true. As months turned into years, Moses had to confront a harsh reality: Doris wasn't coming back. The silence had shattered his heart, and the woman he had once loved with all his being was now just a painful memory. Moses couldn't concentrate on his work, and his once hopeful outlook on life became clouded by bitterness. He pushed everyone away, especially women, unable to trust them after what he believed Doris had done to him. His friend Williams tried to be there for him, urging him to move on, but Moses was too hurt to listen. He became angry and cynical, treating women with disdain and lashing out at them over the smallest things. The love that had once fueled him was gone, replaced by resentment. Moses vowed never to let himself fall in love again, convinced that it would only lead to more heartache and betrayal. 4 years passed, and Moses had become a different man. He had buried himself in his mechanic work, trying to distract himself from the pain that still lingered in his heart. One day, a woman appeared at his workshop, and to his shock, it was Doris. She looked nervous, unsure of how to approach him after all these years. Guilt weighed heavily on her, but Moses could only feel anger and confusion. What was she doing here after all this time? Doris explained that she hadn't abandoned him on purpose, she had lost her phone and all his contact information. She had tried to reach him through letters, hoping one would find its way to him, but it seemed none had. Now, after all these years, she was back to explain everything. Moses stood there, torn between the pain she had caused and the love he still secretly harbored for her. Before confronting Moses, Doris had sought out Williams, explaining what had happened and asking for his help in getting through to Moses. Williams, though protective of his friend, agreed to help. Together, they approached Moses's workshop, where Doris prepared herself to face the man whose heart she had unintentionally broken. When Moses saw her, his heart raced with a mix of emotions. Anger bubbled to the surface, but as Doris fell to her knees, tears streaming down her face, his resolve began to waver. She pleaded for forgiveness, explaining the lost phone, the unanswered letters, and how she had never stopped thinking about him. She had built a life in the United States, obtaining a green card and achieving success, but none of it had brought her peace because she had left behind the man who had sacrificed so much for her. She promised never to leave him again. Moses stood there in silence, his mind racing with conflicting thoughts. The pain, anger, and love he had buried for years all came rushing back in an instant. He wanted to scream, to tell her how much she had hurt him, but instead, he looked into her eyes and saw the sincerity of her plea. Slowly, he extended his hand and helped her to her feet. It wasn't easy to forgive, but deep down, Moses still loved Doris. Over time, the two of them rebuilt their relationship. It wasn't the same as before, but it was stronger, forged through trials and misunderstandings. Doris, true to her word, invested in Moses's mechanic business, helping him turn it into something bigger and better than he had ever imagined. Together, they healed the wounds of the past, moving forward with a shared vision of the future and a love that had survived. Doris's investment and business acumen helped Moses transform his small roadside workshop into a high-standard automobile service center called **M Drive Auto Solutions. What was once a modest mechanic shop grew into a renowned establishment, offering not only advanced car repairs but also services for luxury vehicles. M-Drive Auto Solutions became known for its excellence in the industry, attracting high-profile clients and becoming a hub for cutting-edge automotive technology. Moses, once just a humble mechanic, became a respected business owner. He also began training young mechanics, passing on his skills and giving others the opportunities he had never had. With Doris by his side, Moses's life transformed in ways he had never imagined. What had started as a dream of love and sacrifice had become a reality, thanks to their resilience and unwavering belief in each other. Years later, Moses and Doris got married, sealing their bond after all the trials they had faced. Together, they built a life full of love, trust, and success. Their story became an inspiration to others, a testament to the power of enduring love and the strength of the human spirit. M-Drive Auto Solutions continued to thrive, with Moses and Doris at the helm, leading their team to greater heights. They used their success to give back to their community, helping others achieve their dreams just as they had achieved theirs. Moses's journey from a heartbroken mechanic to a successful business owner was a story of resilience, proving that even in the darkest times, love, when genuine, could endure anything. The trials they faced only made them stronger, and together, they created a legacy that would be remembered for generations to come.